I've been rather too busy to upload any videos recently, so I'm just going to upload this one, which is an interview I did a while back with AngryBasterds on Anita Sarkesian and the finebros, which I'm uploading with his full permission. You can see the link to his channel below. So I am going to upload some more videos over the summer, but right now I thought, just in the meantime, people can have a look at this. I apologise for the audio. That isn't AngryBasterds' fault. That's my fault for not having a good microphone when I did record this interview. Anyway, I hope you enjoy.
I wanted to discuss today the Fine Brothers censorship on YouTube versus Anita Sarkesian's ethics of people quote-unquote saying she censors.
Okay.
So, the first question I wanted to get across from you is, it's a known fact that the Fine Brothers have been censoring people on YouTube. They have taken down successful channels. But yet, Anita Sarkesian hasn't actually flagged anyone, so why is the justification of the accusation of censorship?
Well, and then far, I mean, I'm not necessarily completely in agreement with what everyone says about Anita Sarkesian, but the issue is not so much that Anita Sarkesian is maliciously censoring anyone, but the fact that she disables comments on videos gives some sort of idea about the character of the individual, a character, someone that is not prepared to accept criticism, essentially. In principle, there's nothing morally wrong, I would say, with censoring your own comments, and that's contrary to what the finebros did, which is they actually tried to block other people from creating content. That is genuine censorship. But disabling comments and not engaging with genuine critics and trying to portray genuine critics as being the minority third-party trolls, I would say that's perhaps pernicious, but there's not anything morally wrong with it, in the sense that it's not behaviour that I would consider necessary to try and retard in any way. It's not behaviour that I would endorse. It's not behaviour I consider to be in accordance with what I would do, but nevertheless, it's not censorship in the sense that she isn't actually censoring people's right to speak in the way that the finebros were maliciously using copyright law to do so.
I want to get across also, with the outrage of Gamergate and the critics, why weren't people doing that same kind of outrage against the NSA or other British spy agencies invading their social media? Like,
can you kind of rephrase what you're asking? Are you trying to?
I'm saying if people just as acted just as been the level of trolling they did to Anita Sarkesian against the NSA or other British intelligence agencies spying on social media, there would have been actual serious precedent to address Edward Snowden seriously.
I'm not really quite sure what you're getting at. If you're talking about things like the Snoopers Charter that's introduced.
Yes.
I don't really understand the analogy that you're trying to draw with any.
I'm saying if people on social media, like they did with Gamergate, acted so virally towards outrage, towards Gamergate, towards the NSA or the Snoop program in the United Kingdom, they could have had serious precedent to set an agenda of repealing such laws.
I'm still not quite getting the point that you're trying to make. Are you saying that things like the NSA or the UK government would be potentially have a conflict of interest and be interested in censoring?
Yes, that's my point. My point is, if people, not censoring Gamergate, but I'm saying like if the internet people acted as virally and like as motivated to speak out against Gamergate and pro Gamergate towards the NSA, it could have caused actual precedent of getting rid of the NSA.
So you're suggesting that there's been a misuse of
Yes.
effort and time that you would consider being more appropriate to be directed towards things like the Snoopers Charter.
Yes.
Or the overreach of the NSA.
Yes.
So yeah, I mean, I agree with that, but that's just part of the human condition. People tend to argue more strongly towards things that they expect to impact them in the short term, and it's the same reason that when you're perhaps doing a university assignment, if the deadline is in a couple of days' time, you're more keen to do it. It's why people leave things to the last minute. Even though there's an argument for doing things as soon as you get it, it saves you time in the long run. You can probably do a better job of the task that you're trying to accomplish. But people still tend to leave things to the last minute because the sort of payback seems bigger when it's closer to you. And that's not to say that the Snoopers Charter and the NSA isn't going to affect people. Ironically, it might affect people more, but there's a sort of detachment. It feels more detached from people's immediate reality. So there's less of a sort of incentive for people to go after things like that as much as perhaps Gamergate. But I'm sure people that are more politically minded would have gone after that. It's just the case that if you're more involved in things like Gamergate, you probably aren't as interested in these issues. There probably are people that are just as interested in things like this than they are in the Gamergate thing. That being said, I'm not necessarily sure it's the case that if the investment had been towards things like the Snoopers Charter, there would have been a dramatic change, because there are a lot of people that do value, and I'm not saying I agree with them, that do value security over freedom.
And I was also sorry. I want to also get across the issue of with the Fine Brothers and their debacle of ridiculousness. That I'm trying to address this properly. Like I had a word in my notes, and I'm trying to like process it. The Fine Brothers, when they trademarked the essence of the word react and reply, were they essentially being greedy? Like, in a sense of, like, yes, they're being greedy, but, like, did they really need to do what they did?
Well, I try to think the best of people that I can. I mean, from their point of view, I'm sure they don't consider it to be greed.
Yes.
I suspect it's more about ego and pride than it is about greed. If you're, it ties in with the whole thing regarding who was it? What's her name?
Yeah.
Ellen, doing something similar, and them overreacting to that. React, ironic, isn't it? But I think it's more of a case of ego and pride being damaged rather than. I mean, implicit. I mean, indirectly, of course, it is greed, but I don't think from their point of view it would be considered that. I think it's more of a case of wanting ownership over something that they consider to be a major part of. And the irony in all this is that their content isn't particularly original in the first place. But again, I
got you. With the idea, I also want to address this in my notes. It's also shadow banning. The new Twitter guidelines of shadow banning. Are they targeting troll accounts or actual personalities?
Well, actually, in this case, you'd be asking about whether a company has the right to do this, because sidetracked a little bit, but one interesting point that people bring up is people that are all pro-free market suddenly against Twitter censorship. So that's actually quite an interesting point there. But with regards to what you said, no, I think it is politically motivated. I think there definitely is a political dimension to what Twitter is doing. I think Twitter is making a mistake because they do have a large conservative audience. They're pandering to the sort of do-good liberal minority, I'd call them. The sort of people that behave like that are in the minority, but they do wield quite a lot of power in terms of the government at government level, for example. But in terms of market share, they are a minority. So it is foolish in the long term to be pandering to these sorts of people. That's my opinion.
I also really want to. I want to get addressed that Facebook has been censoring the EDL, the British Defence League, this other National Socialist groups. Last week they shut down the Scottish Socialist Party. They shut down a party somewhere in like in United Kingdom. I'm not sure where it was associated with the Greens, and the Communist Party of London. They also shut down a Liberal Dems page somewhere in Wales. This has all been reported by friends of mine. but they were targeting groups for saying to be not following Facebook guide rules of they shut down for quote unquote spamming or being extremist.
Well, again, I mean, if you're coming on to a later point about whether a company should have the right to do
I know.
this is a point.
Yeah, I know. But I'm saying, does Facebook have the right to censor political parties that are already established, already have members, but yet, because they don't like, they say they can pull the plug?
I don't know whether you're trying to draw me into this debate about the free market versus.
It's a free market. It's a free market, like corporations versus free speech, like because the corporations. Yeah. You're saying
it's not a free speech issue. If Facebook wants to censor people for no reason, just on the basis of political view, essentially, if they want to discriminate on the basis of political views, and I find this ironic actually because. Discriminating on the basis of religion is seen as something that's so
taboo,
contrary to basic principles. Yet politics and religion are really quite similar. Your politics are probably going to be based on where you're from. There's a geographic dependency there. It's not just geographic. You're probably going to have similar politics to the people that you're brought up with. So there's quite a lot of similarity there. And actually, I consider really the only difference between politics and religion is that politics is sometimes rational. So it makes absolutely no sense to me that we have discrimination laws against religion, but we don't against politics. But okay, that's the side. Should companies be allowed to do it? Yes. I mean, there's clearly I'd be contradicting myself if I said I'm pro free markets.
Yeah.
We're not talking anarchist here. We're talking. Should companies have a relative amount of freedom within reason? So clearly there will be a contradiction there. The difficulty I would have is if there's a certain amount of gerrymandering between companies like Facebook and the government. So if the censorship was government enforced, so the German government actually persuaded Facebook to censor various things. That I do have a problem with, and I would consider that to be censorship because of the government gerrymandering involved. But if a company on its own volition, even if it's a large company, and which again I do have more of a problem when it's a large company doing it than when it's a small company doing it. There's a whole argument here that you can't have a true free market when you have them properly anyway. But that's a different thing. I should be allowed to do it. I'm not pleased about it, but I would hope that. I'd hope that Twitter will be punished for it because people would quit Twitter and go elsewhere. And indeed, I think they are being punished. Their
stocks are going down.
The value is falling, so they are being punished for it. So I think that's right, and that should be the case.
There's one final point I have in my notes I want to address. What is do you think the FBI versus the Apple data breach is a precedent worth of the law they're appealing for 1760 about the right to enter a back door, which really applies to a house, not like the law says to enter a back door, blah, blah, like whatever reason, blah 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 blah, is only essential if there's a data breach. The law is worded to imply that the data it has to be in a government building or private office, but not in a phone.
I don't know too much about this, but as I understand it, the government actually forced, or when I last heard about it, I don't really know, I haven't really been keeping up to date with this, but as I last heard about it, the government was trying to force Apple to break its own code so that information could be released that was relevant to terrorism. That's as I understand it. Do I agree with that? No. I mean, this comes down to the security versus freedom argument.
Yeah.
And the thing that people don't understand is the essence of valuing security above freedom to such a degree is actually the definition of fascism, and people don't realise this. This is a fascist policy. Now, again, this is people misunderstanding what fascism is.
Yes, I agree. Yeah.
Is fascism a good thing or a bad thing? That's actually an interesting argument. Fascism, I think, is clearly a bad thing. But people don't really understand what fascism is. Fascism means police state.
Yeah.
Means valuing security above all else. And this is a fascist policy. Of course, you have to have a certain amount of security. Again, we're all moderate and not naive here. You can't have no security at all. I mean, I don't believe in, for example, I don't believe in the UK context of disarming our nuclear armaments, get rid of Trident. I think that's necessary. We need to have a nuclear deterrent. I don't believe in having armed forces. I do believe in a certain amount of security, but not if it comes at the expense of civil liberties in a great degree. That's not to say that all civil that we have to have. Again, it's a matter of degree here. But the idea that the government should be forcing a company to make its own codes, and again, as you pointed out, open the door for hackers, which I think is going to be a far bigger problem in the long run, and is absolutely ridiculous. The threat of terrorism is actually relatively low. I suspect you're probably more likely to be struck by lightning than killed in a terrorist attack. And in fact, in America, it's even worse, because your chances of dying in a random
shooting,
homicide, or indeed actually being shot accidentally, the chances of that happening are far outweigh the chances of you being killed in a terrorist attack. So the sort of resources being invested, the time and effort being invested are laudable in some degree. We do need to try and curb terrorism. The returns are too small. The returns that you get from this one particular instance are going to be relatively small, and the price that you have to pay is huge. You're opening a door to cyber criminals, for potentially all time. I mean, you can't open a door and expect that people are going to take advantage of that. Practically, it's ridiculous. It infringes on civil liberties to an over extensive degree, excessive. It's in all ways. I disagree with that particular legislation.
I think we're good here. I think this is a good place to end it.
John Madden, John Madden, Tony Hawk, John Madden, John Madden, John